Alright, as you can see by the title and last week's video, if you watched that, I did promise to do this video. So I'm finally filming this video. Even though it's Tuesday for me right now, it's currently the 14th, so this is going out this Friday. But I've done both of these craft shows, so we'll see how this goes. I'm probably going to need to drink several times during this because my throat does not like when I do long formatted YouTube videos in one singular sitting. But I'm going to do this in one singular sitting, so warning, my throat's probably going to be yelling out. But first up, since I feel like someone's going to like question it in the background, my giant unicorn back there, I'll move out of the way a little bit. That's Maddie, my giant unicorn, and I have a doll and a little owl back there too. I didn't make the owl, I bought that, but I made the other two. So that's them back there. If you want to see better pictures of them, they're both up on my Instagram at the Crochetery. So if you're curious about those, let's get them out of the way now because you're going to be looking at her in the background the entire time. But in terms of my markets, I write down everything in this little handy dandy notebook that I got. I just bought this from Walmart, so it's nothing special. I'm actually hopefully getting into Circuit next year, so I'm going to get like some little stickers and put some little stickers on here. I'm going to get some Filbert stickers. I know Filbert's over here. Filbert, bud, you should be helping me. I'm telling you, he never likes working. But this is Filbert. He's my little fluffy cow. He's going to be my mascot eventually, like the logo for me, but currently it's just me sitting in a blanket because I'm amazed I made a blanket. But it will be Filbert soon. So you need a help, bud. But we're gonna get some stickers of him on here. I actually just bought like a safety box thing, like you'd like with the key that you like. My animations are horrible. What is this? That you like open with the key and you click and then it opens and then you can put like the cash and the change inside. I'm fed up with my own crap. But I got one of those recently too that I want to put some stickers on because they're just plain and black and it's like, this is boring. When your logo is something so cute and colorful and it's just pastel cotton candy basically. What is this? It's just black. It's just black. But before I get into all the data, a pretty late intro. Hi, I'm Jasmine. Sorry I forgot to do that. I talked about Maddie before I talked about me. But I did split everything down into categories though, so I'm going to get into that. I'm going to be talking about my worst show of last year compared to my best show of last year, compared to how they both contended this year of me doing markets. And this is technically my third year of doing markets. The first year I did markets, I literally only did one, so I don't know if you want to count that. I'm throwing that out there. Just so you guys know, it's technically my third year. If you want to do full experience all around, then it's only technically my second year doing markets. So it was pretty smart of me to even know to get a little handy dandy book. So I write down everything in here that I sell, the original price, the profit that I made from that sale, the overall total, and then everything that I spent money on whilst there, because it's hard to go to a craft show and not buy other things sometimes. Or I find myself like buying lunch and then eating it there while sitting there, and then I'll like minus those totals out and then put my overall total, which I can show you, but my whiteboard kind of sucks at the moment. My expo marker's dying and I desperately need to buy another one. But I do have my little handy dandy whiteboard here. My nails are all messed up. We gotta redo those. Don't look at those. Don't look at them. But you obviously can't see everything because it's in reverse. And I did say my expo marker was dying. Look at how horrible this is. You can't even read that. But I split them both down into not two categories, but like I split both craft shows down into multiple categories, going by their popularity, their availability, their raffling / donation items, their profits, and then their overall experience that I have whilst there on a scale from 1 to 5. I have my profit from the years 1 and my profit from the year 2, and I can even go as far down to tell you exactly what sold at each one. I probably won't go that far into detail as to like each item that I sold, but if you're a little curious about that one, I guess that could be another video of me going over all of my markets in general, each thing that's ever sold, and maybe it'll be fun to like tally it up and see how many things in general I've sold. Like if I went and like I have whales for example, like if I went across all of my craft shows and counted up every single whale I sold, that'd be kind of fun actually. Maybe I'll do that just for myself. I feel like that'd be kind of fun. But I will give you a little background on Craft Fair 1 and then Craft Fair 2. I'm obviously not going to name names of where they are, so I'm just going to give like a basic location idea guide of where they are. So the first one that I went to, which was the worst one of last season, which is the worst one, like in terms of profit, it was the worst for me. And that was in like a bingo hall. If you know what that's kind of like, then you're kind of familiar with that idea. It was pretty like cramped in there because it's not used to having craft shows. I think the one I went to was probably only like their third or fourth time doing it. So it's a very like close knit bingo hall. So there was a lot of like older people there in terms, which is not good for me because I make little stuffed animals. So it's harder to sell it to older people just because they're like either they have grandkids or their grandkids can't have it, or they need something without safety eyes for their grandkids, or the grandkids are too old now and they don't need anything. So that crowd kind of sucks for me. And then the second location, which was in a church, and churches are pretty good in my areas. They're pretty well known if it is like in a church building. The word kind of spreads around faster. So, in terms of like those locations, that's kind of what they're up against. One's a very close knit bingo hall, and one's a very popular church gathering, sort of kind of thing like that. They're both craft fairs, but in terms of just basic, it's like ideas of locations that you can picture in your mind, that is what they look like. But I guess we'll start with the popular bracket since I kind of already dwelled on the popularity. I'm just going to put my whiteboard like over here. So that way when I'm like looking like downish a little bit, I'm reading my whiteboard just so you guys know. But in terms of popularity, like I said, I put everything on a scale. That's my throat. It's going. On a popularity scale, I put everything from the numbers 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I kind of went in the middle for the bingo hall, so I went just a straight 3 on the popularity scale. Because, like I said, it is like a closer-knit community. It's not as popular, but the people that do know about it are very committed to going. They'll go multiple times. They'll invite friends to go with them. They'll go in like huge packs, so there'll be like 6 customers potentially walking in a group all together, just doing little strolls around. And then it would come and like there would be groups of 4 coming in all the time. So it was a very close-knit thing, and I'm going to be using that term a lot to describe how that event went because it was a close-knit thing. So, on a popularity scale, it wasn't the most popular. It wasn't the best crowd turnout I've ever seen. But on a scale of it being the first year I went, I would have only given it a 1 on my end personally because there was not many people there. There was a lot more people there this year in general. And the first year I went there was a lot of more older, like elderly people, which I have a harder time selling things to because I've not really catered towards them. So that kind of sucks, but it did increase this year, so the popularity definitely went up at this location. And in terms of the church, like I said, churches are more popular in my region, so both years I went there, I would give it just a 5. It's super busy, it was super packed, even at opening gate, like, usually when you're at a craft show and you're sitting there, right, you have like a good 30 minutes to a half hour before, 30 minutes to a half hour, are you kidding me? 30 minutes to an hour of just sitting there waiting for people to show up because nobody's there that early. Like, it's 9 a.m. No one's coming there as early as you are. But at this show, people come there right off the gate. Like, I would sit there, it would open, and in 3 minutes, the room I was in would be full. Like, it would just be filled. So, excuse me. That needed to come out, though, to fix my throat a little bit. So, in terms of popularity, again, that one gets a 5 because it was pretty popular. The next thing I have is in terms of availability. So with the bingo hall, the good thing of it being a close-knit community is that they sent out applications to previous vendors beforehand, and then they send out to new applicants. So because I was a previous vendor, I got the application, I think like 3 months before it opened to like the general public for other crafters to possibly apply, which gave me 3 months like ahead of time to be confirmed and get my spot like solid before anybody else could get it. And I personally love that because I like returning to events when they're good for me. Though it wasn't that great, but there were a couple of reasons why, which I'll explain at the end. But I was like, let's do it again, and I got open or like early admission. Like, that was fantastic. I love that. So on terms of that, I give it a 5. If you were a new vendor, I'd give it a 4 because it was still very easy to get into the first time for me. So I'm just going to call it as I see it. in terms of the church show, I'm going to give it a 4 because there is a lot of people there. It is a very big event. This year I had 210 crafters, including myself, being vendors at this location. So it is a very big location. It's a much bigger show than the Bingo Halls one, which is why the scales are kind of like tipped a little bit. But it's a much bigger event, so it's not as easy to get into it. Once you're in it, it's pretty good because you get applications like that day. Like they'll print out the applications and hand them out to the vendors that are there that day. So if they want to turn them in that day, if you had if you had a check in hand and you could write it out, you could write it out and be set for that day. Like you would just be done already. But in terms of like getting into it, it wasn't that hard to get into it the first time, but it was like pretty filled this year, so I don't think like it would be easy to get in now because there was so many people. Like there was 210 vendors. Like that is a giant event. But I will say I don't think they're doing that event anymore. Sorry, I had to take a little throat break there. I was saying anymore. In case you're curious what the word was when I cut off, it was anymore. I went like that and I felt my throat. It didn't feel good, so I had to take a couple minute break there. But I was going to say I don't think they're doing that location anymore, which kind of sucks, but they're still doing the Bingo Hall one that I've been attending. So that's kind of nice, at least there, but in terms of the availability, they're like pretty good on both ends, but like not really good on both ends. It depends. If you're already a vendor, it's pretty great. If you're a new vendor, it's a little bit hard, but it's still pretty good. So that's our popularity and our availability already out of the way before we reached anything else. So I really need to like speed this up because I realize how long the video is taking it and I haven't even gotten anywhere yet. I just keep rambling on. Maybe that's a good thing. It'll just be like a really nice long video that you can listen to, but still not a great thing. Next, I'm going to go to the raffles, which is like pretty good, but like not really. Like I have a sad story. So I'll talk about the Bingo Halls one first since it's my worst show. And it has a lot of raffle baskets, but none of them were like really speaking to me like on my level because like I'm a person where it's like I don't really need much. Like if I need new things, like I'll just buy them. Like I don't need much like that, so I'm not really big on the raffles. But there was this one gorilla that I wanted more than anything else. I wanted it. Like I saw it, I wanted it, and I didn't get it. I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it still. It was a giant stuffed gorilla. It was vintage, so it's not like I can like just buy one now. Like I thought about it, I couldn't find it anywhere. It was like this big from this hand to this hand. Like it was a giant stuffed gorilla, and it came with like basket raffles where it was the gorilla and then a bunch of toys, but I didn't really care much about the toys. I just wanted the gorilla. So I bought some tickets for it. It was $10 for I think 20 tickets. I believe it was something along those lines, so it wasn't bad at all. So the first time I had went, I bought $10 worth of tickets, and then I wrote down like my number and stuff on each of the 20 tickets, and I was like, I like truckled around. I put like one ticket in something, and I put one ticket in something else. And my friend wanted this other basket there because it had a coffee squishmallow in it, and she loves coffee. So I put 10 in there for her, and then I put the rest that were in my hand towards the gorilla. So I put like, I didn't put 10 in. I put like 6 or 7 in for her, and then I put the rest in for the gorilla. And then like halfway through the show, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I really want that gorilla. And my friend's hyping me up. She was like, we should just go back and go get more raffle tickets. So I went and got more raffle tickets. I got $20 worth of raffle tickets. So now I have 40 extra raffle tickets. My friend put 30 tickets in the gorilla for me, and then 10 tickets in for the one she wanted. And then it comes time for raffles. And I didn't get this basket. I put like 40 plus tickets in, and I didn't get it somehow. But my friend won hers, which was pretty nice. And I told her, I was like, you can keep everything in it. I don't really care about anything else, but can I have the basket that it came in? She was like, yeah, you can have the basket. So I have the basket. I figured I could put some stuffed animals into it for future craft shows. So as you can see, I got my spaghetti meatball jellyfish, a little scarf thing I've been working on, some little loose balls of yarn, a little rainbow octopus, which is coming in a future video, by the way. So I got the big basket from her. I stole it from her, but like not really because I paid for all the tickets. So in terms of raffle tickets, I would only give it a 3. There wasn't a lot of like good things there. a lot of these stuff they said were donated. And I also tried to buy the Gorilla off the lady that won it, and she said no. So, it's all around kind of disappointing on the raffles. But there wasn't that much stuff. There was like some random shirts, some random like wine baskets, gift cards. There was only like 2 toy baskets, and then it was like cat baskets, more clothing, and I wasn't really into any of it. I guess to like an average consumer, I would give it a 3. I would put it like right in the middle. Like it wasn't anything relating to any of the crafters because there was no donation items on our parts. So there wasn't like anything that you could get and then go into the next room and buy things for. It was all just specifically stuff that they had purchased or they were donated to and then put together into raffle baskets. So I'm only going to give them a 3. And then for the church show, I'm only going to give it a 2 actually, even though like I won quite a bit. I'm usually not a big raffle person, like I said, so I wasn't aware of like the raffle guidelines for this place. But my mom was attending it and she came up to me like during the craft show and she said the raffle tickets are crafters only. My awful tan line, by the way, are crafters only. So only other vendors could buy raffle tickets to receive items. So I didn't like that fact that there was like yeah, there was 210 vendors, so like potentially 210 people could have been playing raffles. But the fact that there was like there was like times 3 of like what vendors were compared to customers. And like the fact that a customer couldn't go there and then do anything for the raffle was kind of sucky. Like that was just not good on like in my experience. I don't like the fact that the raffles weren't actually for the consumers but rather other vendors. But like I said, my mom did put my name in for her so that way she could at least think to win baskets or that I would win the baskets I wanted. So that way, obviously I could go out and pick things I wanted because I had to be there all day. I was working the event. But I do know that from the vendor that I was sitting next to was telling me, since she saw me go and get basket, she said that when they first started doing the crafter raffle, and that's what they called it because they only let crafters win, is they wouldn't let you pick what you won. They'd actually bring a prize back to you. And that kind of sucked. Like, I kind of hate that idea more than I already hated the fact that it was only crafters. But she said there was, like, 3 times, like, 3 years in a row, she won a basket, and they brought her back her own item. So, like, that would be, like, say I took Filbert, and I was like, here's my donation item. And he would sit on the table for somebody to try to win. And I'm just like, oh, well, I'm curious what I'll get. Like, I saw a cute candle company. I saw a cute soap company. And then they bring me this back. That's not the point of a crafter raffle then. The point is to like support other people, is to go and get other things. So I'm glad I was at least able to go and pick other things. And like I said, I didn't want to do it originally. My name was put in for me on behalf of my mother. But I ended up winning 3 times actually, which was kind of insane. Like I didn't expect to win that much. So the first time around I went and I got like a Tree of Life necklace, which I don't have like on hand unfortunately. But that was the first thing I won, and then I won again a second time. So I got some of these little pastel bracelets. I thought they were cute, and I saw the little kid that was selling these, and I was like, that's cute. So I'm gonna take these little guys with me. And then the third time around, there wasn't really anything left. So I kind of just got an assortment of like little heart resin necklaces, I think. I don't really like them. I picked them because there was like a really nice, like big clunky bear one, which I don't know where it went. Hold on, wait. I might not. No, I went and looked. I didn't see it anywhere, so that kind of sucks. But I did win that. So I won 3 different times, 3 different jewelry items. But I'm only giving it a really low rating at 2, only because it is a crafter raffle. It's not for the mass consumers that are attending. And also just the idea of, like, you might not even getting something that you want. Because, like, I definitely did not want any of the jewelry items in general. There was just nothing up there that was, like, useful in terms of, like, my lifestyle. So I kind of just settled for the jewelry. We're going to skip profit and go down to experience first. I'm actually giving them both a 4. Like, in my mind, I don't know if there is, like, a perfect experience thing. I think it would really depend on, like, what you think and how you feel at that day. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna, like, wake up in the morning, go there, and then, like, come home and be like, that was a 5. That was it. That was the best show I could have ever learned from. So I'm giving them both 4s. But I'll talk about the bingo hall one first. It was actually my first time being like smushed and like in between 2 other tables. So like there was table 1, there was my table, and then there was table 3. So I was kind of like in between two, and I'm not used to being in between two. I'm used to being on like the edges because I put on like the bottom of my applications that I have like a shelving unit that I need room for. It's a big wire basket thing. I have it's set up over there, but you can't really see over there. Maybe I'll take I'll pick you up real quick, and I will come over here. So come here. I'll show you my wire shelving so you can understand what I'm saying. I just gotta like step around my room to get to it a little bit. So this is my wire bracket that I'm talking about. So here's my assortment of animals that I've made / purchased. So I'm trying to get a good angle on it. It was one of these set where this goes all the way to the floor. So it is like 3 blocks high each on both sides, just so you're aware. There's a little bit better of a look at it, but it's like 3 blocks high on both sides. So I usually have one set up on the table, which I kind of like doing now, and then I have one set up on the side of the table on the floor coming up, so that way people can look at that side as they're either walking out or they're coming in, and then they'll look at the table one as they're at the table. But we didn't have that room, which kind of sucked. So my friend came up with a good idea of putting them both on it. Like, let's just put them both on the table. So we had the shelving unit on this side and the shelving unit on this side, and then we had the random middle parts of the table, like, in between. So it was a really good experience in terms of, like, tabling. We learned a little bit more about the table. The show itself was more packed, so we got to learn a little bit more about, like, how to run things there specifically, who we can tailor to, who we can't tailor to. Things that I learned just like in terms of like more things, because I always like ask people at other shows like, oh well, what should I make next? Like I have like a little notepad that I leave out saying like what should I make next on it. So I got like 7 or 8 things there that people were like, you should make this next and this next and this and this next and this next. So that was pretty nice in terms of that as well. I was definitely learning a lot more in terms of experience there as well. But like I said, I'm not going to give anything ever a perfect 5, probably. And in terms of the church one, again, there was a lot of people there. It was pretty packed. And I learned a bit more. I actually bought a cake tower, which is going to be used in an up-and-coming video, which I'm super excited for. But that's going to need a Michael strip before I can do that. But I had the 2 shelving units, and I had 2 tables at this event because I knew it was a big event. And I had a cake tower, which is kind of interesting, which I have pictures of. But essentially we had one table like this going this way, and we had one table like this going this way. And then, so we put one shelf right there because the door was coming in this way, and then we had one shelf over on the edge of my side, and then my friend had the cake tower next to her because it had a bunch of like TV show video game characters on it that she knew more about, so I kind of sat her next to those. But the cake tower is essentially, it's a 4-foot by 4-foot giant tower from the floor to the average like 4 foot standing up, you know. And it has like the spinning layers. There's 4 different levels and you can spin them around, so I was like, that's the perfect thing. So I started to use that this year, specifically at that show, which was pretty nice. So I learned a little bit about that. I learned a little bit more about how I like the 2 tables and the bins that I have on my tables. I learned a lot more for a younger audience, because this church does have a lot more younger audience. There's a lot more children that attend this one. There's a lot more young adults that attend this one that have children. And there's just a lot more of like middle-aged people, I'd say, like somewhere late 20s to early 30s that do enjoy still stuffed animals. That was pretty good for me. The crowd turnout on that one was pretty good. So the experience there was pretty good because I was able to sell towards a lot more people. I had a lot more things. I had a lot more table experience. So I'd give it the same 4 because I don't think I'm ever going to give anything a 5. So that's everything in terms of their 5 categories that I've placed: the popularity, availability, raffle items / other things, profit, and experience. Those are my 5 little brackets. So all that's left now is what's in this little guy. So I have everything in here. So obviously it's reversed. You're not going to really be able to see it. But this just says Craft Show Logs 2022 because that's technically when I started. I had one show in 2022. So it kind of looks something like this. I actually don't remember which event this is, but up at the top here it says October 8th, 2022. That was the date and the year that I did it. And then again, I wrote down everything here. So like turtle, bear, frog, ice cream, dinosaur. That's pretty much just what the wording is. And then next to it is a number, so 1554, you know, the profits, because I didn't have the original prices at this point. And then at the bottom here, I have the total, the minus for the table, the minus for snacks, obviously my lunch, and then the overall total. And like I said, I don't remember which place this was, but I only made 57 bucks, which kind of sucks, but not my worst show. And then I have the bingo haul one here, minus, I'm trying to block the names of them up at the top, of the bingo hall side versus the craft show side. Can you guess which one's which by all the writing there for there being there and not being there? So this half of the side is the bingo haul. I sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items for a total of $83. Minus my table and lunch costs, I only made $45.50 for the first year being at my worst craft show ever. Which is why I say it was my worst craft show ever. And the reason it came down to 50 cents is because I bought lunch and I took the 50 cents there. Because I bought a hot dog and it was $2.50. So I just counted out the 50 cents, which is kind of weird, but you know. So in terms of like that, there isn't much on this page because like I said, I did not sell much. And in terms of this page is jacked packed filled. It actually takes up a halfway through a second page back here, so it's going to take me a second to count all these. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55 sold items. That took me a minute, but 55 sold items for originally a total of $487. And then cross out the table cost, my lunch cost, and I bought a sticker there for my friend. So I only made $428 in the first year of me being there, which is why it was my best show. And the main reason for this is I sold a lot of like $10 things. So I wasn't getting like a bunch of big sales. I was getting a bunch of minor sales. The actual like highest priced sale I got was only $35, and it was for a giant cow that I had sold. If I were to like try to like show something similar to how big the cow was, it would be Maddie back there. Like it was pretty big, and that was only after the profits. If I were to do the second highest thing, it would have only been $15 in profits. So like at like a single time. Because like I said, how I count out my price is I take an animal, which I guess this could be like a whole video in itself, but I'll throw it in here while I'm talking. Is I'll take the animal that I make, for example, and this blue yarn, let's say, costs $2, and this pink yarn, let's say, costs $2, and it only took me one ball of each to make one. So then it would only take me $4 to make this, which isn't true. I'm just making up numbers. But let's say it only took me $4 to make this, then I would sell it for, let's say, $6. So then I made $6, but I really only made $2 because $4 went towards the production of this. So then really you only make $2. And that's how I like to profit out my things. So that's why things don't seem as high as they should be according to some people. That's always a big debate, but I like having affordable things on my table. Even if they're the only thing that's selling, at least I know that they'll keep selling. So I'm fine with that. So from first year on both events, again, was $45.50 versus $428. So how did I do this year? So if you want to skip through some little pages here from other shows that I did, I gotta find them this year. Here we go. I'm gonna use my whiteboard again to block out the names. But as you can see, again, they're both pretty much like the same length this time. Like one is half a page and the other is a page and 2 lines over. So for the Binkle haul this year, I had sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 things this time, which is pretty good. A lot of higher priced things, a lot more sales within like one person that was buying multiple things. So my overall total was 254 minus my table, minus the raffle tickets that I purchased, and I bought some socks there because I like llama socks and they had llama socks, so I bought some. But my overall total was $157. So that is a huge difference to only making $45.50 the first year and making $157 the next year. The worst market definitely had a glow up. It was insane. There was a lot more people attending this time around, like I said. And I will say that there was some defining factors that could have affected how I went last year versus how this year went. So I will explain those since I am right here now at the profits looking at both points. Last year, I didn't have my best friend there with me, and she's kind of like my right hand man. She sits there and she helps me market things, sell things. I don't know. She's just got a better like idea in like terms of like marketing to people than I do. Gotta just sit there and I make them. She helps me sell them. But I didn't have her there the first time around. I was there by myself pretty much trying to sell things to people, which was not great. Like I wasn't able to like captivate people the way that she does, I'll say. And I also didn't have the best table set up because usually she helps me set them up. Like, she sets them up because she sets it up better than I do. Like, she knows exactly where to put things to, like, catch people's eyes because she's an artist, so she's better at that. So she knows where to captivate the people. So, like, let's say you should have this here because they'll see it so quicker, but I put it here because I'm like, but they'll want to feel it, but they'll see it quicker, stuff like that. Like, she just knows stuff like that better than I do. So I didn't have her there helping with the selling, the marketing of the things, as well as setting up the table. So my table was not ideal. Like, the popular things I didn't put on the table. So like when you think popular crochet items, you're thinking bees, axolotls, leggy frogs, dinosaurs, pickles, things like that. I didn't have any of those on the table. I had them on the shelving unit, which was next to the table, to like guide them to that, but no one really like spoke to me long enough for me to guide them over there to look at some of that stuff. So in terms of that kind of sucked on my part. There was a lot more negative things there the first year than there were this year. Obviously, I had help there this year. I had my right hand man there with me to help set up. We had a better setup because we had both shelves on the table, which looked better in my opinion. So overall, the experience from last year to the experience from this year was pretty amazing. Not even just in terms of profit, but in terms of like being there, it was much better this year than it was last year in my opinion. Which, like I said, could be a mixture from her not being there versus her being there. But also just the overall crowd turnout. So my worst market turned into one of my, like, not my best markets, but a pretty good, decent market that I would do again this year, which is pretty crazy because if I were to, like, think about it, like, if I wouldn't have given it that second chance, I probably would have only thought that would have been one of my worst markets ever, and I wouldn't have gone back to it. But it turned out to probably be, like, one of my, like, fourth, fifth best markets. I can hear my neighbors outside yelling, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. I guess I'll try to, like, enunciate a little bit louder, so you might want to turn your volume down a little bit. But I do have to get into the next event. So the next one is the church again, which is a little bit over the page. Nothing crazy, but I do have to read them all out. So let's see. I sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38 things at this event. So obviously, compared to last year, me selling 55 things to 38 things is already not sounding good, which it's not. My overall total was only 413 minus the table, minus the snacks, minus the... I bought a gift for my friend, so minus the gift that I bought for my friend, and then I bought myself something nice, so minus that as well. I only made $329 this year, compared to me making $428 the previous year. So obviously that did not go over as well for me either in terms of my little book here. I'm going to put this away for now. But obviously that does not sound as good for me. It's obviously not one of my better markets anymore. But there could be a multiple different amount of reasons for that. One, it could be I didn't have as many things there that people were wanting this year. So, like, for example, I sold a lot of axolotls at that show, and I just didn't have enough time to make any before it this time. So maybe it was the fact that I didn't have as many items. Maybe it was 1 or 2 sales that I couldn't do just because I take cash mostly, and they wanted to do Venmo or PayPal or something like that, and I couldn't take it, and I had to turn them away, which also sucks. But maybe it was just the fact that they saw something and they didn't have any money enough to, like, get it. So there's obviously times where you kind of just lose out on people, and that just happens sometimes. It just sucks when it does. So maybe it was one of those scenarios that happened one too many times there this year, and I just didn't get to live up to the high standards of it being my best market ever. So in terms of my worst market to my best market, the worst market got a little bit better, hitting up to like my 4th or 5th best show. And the best market ever definitely declined down to 2nd place, which isn't crazy. I still don't make like a crazy amount of anywhere. I don't go to a craft show expecting it to completely sell out or to make like $1,000. It just doesn't, like, it's not something I'd expect. I go there and I hopefully make $100 to $200, and I'm pretty happy with myself at that point, because I just usually keep half in savings, and then I'll take half and I'll use it somewhere. I'm actually doing some pretty good ideas with it this year, man, so I guess I can spoil it a little bit. I mean, if you made it this far in the video, you deserve a little bit of a spoiler. But come next year, like I said, I want to be a little bit more in tune with the little business of the Crochettery. Like I said, I'm definitely going to get him as my mascot and my logo. So I'm going to get him as my logo. I already purchased a circuit, so I'm going to be getting stickers soon, hopefully. I'm going to be getting into felt eyes, which I feel like would be pretty fun and unique. I'm going to be trying to get a sewing machine to like hand make bags easier on myself, because whenever I make bags, I put a fabric lining inside, so it would be super easy for me just to like put the fabric on it, just to save myself time, which would be pretty nice because I like to do it with my blankets as well. I like to put fabric on the back, so it would be much easier just to put it onto the sewing machine rather than having to hand sew it, which I currently do. But I also am looking to get a Rollo printer. Now, if you don't know what that means, let me tell you, because I'm a little bit too excited about it and I want to ramble about it. Essentially, Rollo is a brand that I follow on Instagram. They make printers, and specifically their wireless printer I was looking to get. I wanted to get their wireless printer and some of their printing labels, because starting next year, I want to start selling my items online, not just locally anymore. I want to get bigger and better, definitely. It's not like I expect to like sell out continuously doing like drops, like where I'll just sell out immediately. It's definitely not anything like that in my mind. But I do want to get to a point where like I can make certain things and then just like sell them immediately, like get rid of them immediately. Like, for example, I do like a couple video ideas that I like doing personally, of crocheting in a full day or crocheting in a full 24 hours, which I've been working on, but it takes so much longer than you guys think, where I make one item specifically. So up on my videos already on my YouTube here is a video that I did where how many crochet keychains could I make within a single day. So if you're curious about that, you can watch that there. But let's just say, for instance, I wanted to get rid of them all immediately. I didn't want to have them for my craft show loots. So I would just put them all up on like Etsy, for example, or even my own website. I'm not sure. I might just start off on Etsy just to be safe. But I'd put them all on Etsy, for example, and I'd do a keychain drop, and I'd see like how many of them I could just like sell right off the bat, get rid of them, and the printer would allow me just to print the labels, which would be so much easier than going and paying shipping at my local post office, because they suck, to be honest. It's like $10 to ship out a package every time. So I'd really love just to have the label maker so I could just slap it on the package myself. I'm sorry if that scared you, by the way. Just so I could slap it on there myself and just get rid of it. But I'm hoping to invest those into myself, of getting myself a little mini sewing machine to help myself make bags and blankets quicker, because I want to try making bags. I want to make bags. I like making bags. I don't have time to make bags because sewing takes so long. And then, obviously, the Rollo printer to start printing things out so I can start selling things online, which would be pretty dope. But that's all I have now in terms of these two markets. If you're a little bit curious about my market history in general, or market advice in general, maybe the experience of me learning things the hard way will help you learn things not the hard way. Or if you're a little bit curious just about how my booths all looked in general, the evolution of my market system, maybe you'd like that as a video. You never know. Maybe if you like a video just a little bit about me, because I don't really have one on my channel yet, which is kind of surprising. Like, I've been making YouTube videos and posting them up here for like 2-ish months now. I really should get an intro to me and an intro to Filbert, because I reference him quite a lot in a few videos, and I just never really dabbled onto who they are and why you should care for them. So maybe a little intro about me would be another good YouTube video idea. But if you have any other good YouTube video ideas in general that you'd like to see me do, like I mentioned, doing a full day of crochet versus a full 24 hours, if you have an idea that you'd like, oh, maybe if you make cows, for instance, in a full day, how many can I make? That would be a pretty fun idea. So if you have any ideas like that, if you want to see me make anything in general, just leave them down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next Friday.